And I said increase in talk, and then uh, I'll say an increase in like a spike in like sales and stuff, and more views and shit. You know what I mean? Then looking at all the do what's best for your country thing, I felt like a microphone and camera to everyone I met. But my Truman Show, my Blumen Show reality had been programmed for that since back in college. Just being able to spread what's right for the country, you know what I mean? And watch the right shit for what's right for the country. I felt like a microphone and camera. And everybody just wanted to be on the show. In that alternate reality in my mind, at least, because I couldn't deal with the reality I was facing. But they had been programmed since college, you know? I had to destroy myself so no one could manipulate an audience, hoping that on the notion that everything I was saying was true. And that everyone would actually know who I am from 3 decades of knowing me. Puppets. I couldn't be a microphone and camera any longer. Not when it affected people's lives, and my soapbox grew smaller and smaller. It wasn't hard. I just repeat every negative thing about myself that the ass clowns had said to me and others, and I was always self-destructive. Well, the running joke online that I was being set up, or someone was being set up, after dodging 4 setups, by the way, one being a lick, which I don't do, although it was tempting. Two being a chick with no ID randomly asking for a ride on Facebook. Third being another lick, which I don't do. Four being nearly hit by a small black sedan while a voice whispers simultaneously, "You better be quiet, nigga." I knew one thing though. I still had that old Truman Show reality dusting away in the back of my imagination vault. So I booted the bitch up into my mind shell, which was controlling my body, the shell I made for everyone to see, and he jumped off. These ass clowns wanted to be Big Brother Thought Edition. Well, I'd take everything into my imagination. And since they had no content and was only editing thoughts for a piece together, something to show, the Bloomer Show was back up and running. That's all anybody see. It's all anybody talked about. Now talking all this shit, and everybody I meet try and socialize, I add them to it. Before long, I saw their reach was at least 2 states wide, going first to Florida, then making a mid-stop in Texas. I noticed that this was wide, but I also noticed that not everyone actually heard. It had to be a certain demographic. I remember going downtown and noticing the people who would hear me, hearing people comment stuff back, and seeing people who had no idea what anything was going on. So I knew it had to be a certain demographic, you know? So I came back home and went to school. The riots happened and I had no soapbox anymore. Not for politics. I even stopped sharing memes. But I did show for a second. As a black male, I was affected by the discrimination growing. We were getting slaughtered in the streets. Along while this ass clown terrorized my 70-year-old mother through hers and so many other minds. Still, we walked out the door, head high. Not every day, but we always got back up. Everyone was living on the razor's edge, well, at least here anyway. And these ass clowns had gone to showing every blue man show they could nab out of my mind. But I needed them talking as well. I had to find out more. I was losing it. When everyone could be a puppet, then who's to say anyone couldn't do anything at any time? I stayed quiet, but the paranoia gripped my mind. All I heard was death threats every day. I was suspicious of everyone. I didn't care about why. I just hated that my mother had to spend 2 years of this bullshit ass game already afraid of the wannabe motherfucking troll ass gangsters when she came so far and accomplished so many things. I just wanted her happy. One day she went into septic shock and haven't got out the hospital for a month now. Her heart, kidney, and lungs shut down, and I'm knowing that she can beat it. And it feels manipulated. Staff getting in the standard. I'm letting you know I'm affiliated. for 2 years. This is the same shit I've been hearing that fucking cough. And of course, going back to what Mom said about the mobsters, the Godfather theme song played over the loudspeaker. Cruel shit about my mom going through my head all day, just cruel shit. And I go to visit and she'll repeat cruel shit going through her head while trying to recover, you know? Like like she was conscious and cognitive. They made her cough through an oxygen mask. The same shit everyone used. They made her do that shit through an oxygen mask. She was afraid, even then. And in 2 years, I knew I couldn't find them. Not even the puppets, really, because somebody pulling their strings. Like I said, how deep that rabbit hole goes. It's almost as if they were boosting in my head, boasting in my head that they did it. Making jokes about it, laughing. To them, they was doing it. I'm gonna show you about playing with me and all this bullshit. My thing has always been, well, shit, if you really able to go to that means and you able to come at me like a man, you know what I mean? I never gave consent for anyone to hear my thoughts, and it's a 24/7 breach of privacy. I lost my mom yesterday. But I've been losing her. The last 2 years of her life was this. Fear from a source that would never utter any of these words they uttered to me or her, to our faces. I didn't find them in time, and they're still hiding, mocking me in my brain. After all this time, a physical climax